Hello, and welcome back to Soul Star Radio. I'm Jacquelene Close-Moore, and I'm coming to you live from the Psychic Star. And I've got a special guest in case you haven't noticed. I have with me Mr. Rick Williams.
Hi guys.
Who's an author, and he's written a beautiful book called I Am the Architect of My Own Destruction. And even though that's a black cover there, Rick, it's actually quite shiny, much like a crow feather. And crows are all about that sense of transformation and the rebirth through sort of situations. And you've certainly been through a rebirth of your own in a lot of ways. Do you want to tell people a bit about you and what sort of got you writing?
Yeah, so this probably dated back about, I'd say, 10 years ago. I wasn't really aware of my depression and everything like that. But of late, speaking to family members and everything, I did notice that I had a few issues lurking, and my sister-in-law, Christy, we were doing a reading one day, and every time we did do a reading, she said, "Oh, I can see something's up, like, you know, what's going on." And time again, I'd say, "Oh, you know, it's just me. That's, you know, nothing."
Yep.
Until one day we were doing this reading, and she said, "You've got so much in your mind. Just write it down."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, okay, all right, I'll do that." So I just started writing, and Christy messaged me one day, and she said, "Oh, how's that writing going? Do you have anything there?" I said, "Yeah, I'll send it through to you." And ever since I've done that, like, she's just said, "We're making a book out of this."
Yeah.
Well, you've got so much there. And I guess growing up, as I said, I didn't know I had all these issues, and it took until I matured and grew up a bit that through my writing I could see all these issues.
Yeah.
So that's where the writing and everything come from. This is my first book that I've written. I've never been into reading or writing anything like that. I've always played football and everything like that, and this is a whole new world to me. But it's one that I'm definitely embracing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel better about me, and I can also help others too.
Did you find that you sort of had your own catharsis through writing it?
Writing this changed my whole perspective on everything. This was used as my therapy. I suppose I've always was a believer in, you know, going to speak to other people and everything about issues, and I'm not saying not to do that, because of course that's important. But for me, I found my path was write all my thoughts down, deconstruct everything, and then I can see to the issues myself. And I have belief in myself that I could do that. And yeah, luckily I was right.
Yes.
Yeah, but for other people, writing might not be their thing, and they might find their own path to find happiness or whatever. But as long as you can, I suppose, take that step and do whatever it is that makes you happy, then kudos to you, basically.
So what sort of things do you find amongst like yourself growing up and also other young men? Because certainly in Australia and in a lot of other westernised countries, guys are supposed to just, you know, "You're right, mate, it's all right."
Yeah.
And it's not really this discussion of here's my feelings.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you find with your own generation, I guess, or people you've met in your own generation with that?
The stigma, I suppose, of being a macho man, not having to, or not showing emotions, and holding that pride anyone know that you're upset or you're vulnerable or anything like that. For me, this was a big issue for me, and this is probably why I allowed my issues to go on for so long. Like I was captains of football teams, and I'd like to think I was pretty popular at school and things like that, and had a lot of friends, and I almost felt that if I was to show my vulnerability and show that I'm only human, I was weak. But that was wrong. I have to embrace my true feelings in order to be who I am. Otherwise, all these people who I call my friends don't even know the real person.
Yeah.
There's no shame in saying like things have got the better of me.
Yeah.
Because if you can't do that, you can't really be happy and say, this is me at my absolute best. If you don't know what the absolute worst is, you can't measure it. So yeah, that was a big issue for me, but I've changed that, and I'm happy to show my vulnerability. I'm happy to speak out and show people who I am. So that's really important to me now.
It also is an incredible courage to do that, and it actually then gives other people permission to be a lot more real. Do you find that that's affected other people and other young men around you doing that?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose when you're as bad as what I was, courage doesn't really come into it, because it's my life versus, say, my courage. There's no comparison. It's something I have to do, something I had to do. Ever since writing this book, I've had a few of my mates and others, particularly men, who have said, Rick, you've changed my life.
Yeah.
You've given me hope. Like I've had talks with people and telling them what I think they should do and things like that. Because I was such in a bad way, I suppose people have taken that with a grain of salt. But now that I suppose I've made a conscious effort to help change and help to beat this burden of depression, it's become more fulfilling and I suppose more credible.
Yeah.
When I do say things to people, I was able to put my whole life story into that book, and I left no stone unturned.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I've gained a little bit of, I suppose, respect out of it, and hope that people listen, and it's obviously working. But as I said, people have said, you're doing a good thing, and thank you.
Do you find that you get people of different ages as well, like all different sort of ages that you're speaking to that are also kind of commenting on that level?
Yeah, I've had people my own age message me. I haven't had really anybody younger than me say anything to me yet. A few people have purchased my book and they've read it, and I'm guessing in time, as they start to understand, as they grow a little bit more, maybe my words might resonate a bit more with them. But in the way of the older generation, they're blown away with.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're only 27 years old and you're writing this and you're saying all this. But to me, it's not a big thing. Because this is just me telling my story. This is I'm doing it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
I don't feel like like a big celebrity going to change the world or anything like that. I've just been blessed to be able to tell my story.
Mm.
And all I've done for people to read it and take what they get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And 27 is an amazing age as well, because 27 is that point where, we call that Saturn return, and that's where we deal with a lot of the, authority, structure, the fathering image, all these sorts of things. So both our father and also the fathering around us, and also authority figures around us. And so it's a real age of maturation, but also practicality and sort of having to deal with things head on, and we can't sort of hide from that. And so that's why I find the cover just quite amazing in that very Saturnian feel of it. And I think I remember saying to you when I first met you, I'm like, wow, I have trouble believing you're 27. I can believe it, but I'm like, he's a lot older. And do you find that you get that from people as well?
I suppose people say, oh, you've got a baby face and everything like that. So
the thinking, yeah.
The thinking, yeah, like I can always relate to older people, have good in-depth conversations with them, and I probably connect better on a mental level.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably right in saying that. Yeah.
Have you started doing sort of talks with groups and things? Because I sort of felt like I was seeing that with you.
I haven't yet, but 9 out of 10 people tell me you've got to go do it.
Yes, you do.
So yeah, I suppose I'm being drawn to that, and in time, I guess I will. And I wouldn't not do it ever. That's probably going to be the best way that I can convey my message. So yeah, I'll definitely be all hands on deck for that.
No, I don't think that's that far away. So when you sort of deal with, you got someone, and if they're sort of dealing with depression, they're sort of right down here, it's like, I can't see any hope. What sort of, I guess, in the moment thing could you say to them that they could do with that?
You just got to, I suppose, what I wanted when I was down is to be reminded what is around me, just what I've got, what I should be happy, what I can be happy for. Not that, don't take things for granted, or don't, you've got no reason to be sad because you've got good things. It's more so coming from the other side saying, there's all these good things that are here for you, that you've got to live for. And just show people that you're listening.
Yeah.
Like it's, you don't show, when people are over love.
Yeah.
That's very, people feel cold and alone due to when they're talking, and they're talking about the worst thing in their life.
Yeah.
And people are just, oh, hug you, I love you. They feel like they're not listened to.
Yeah.
So it's about taking a step back, listening to people, and listening to their issues, rather than giving the answers.
Yeah. Because what you're talking about there as well is don't try to fix it, and don't try to cake all over it with a whole heap of cream pies and pavlova, for example, just soft fluffy stuff and fairy floss and hey, look, it's all good, here's a teddy bear, hug it.
Exactly.
It's that really being fully present for that person, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like people say, oh, you can just be happy. But they don't say, why are you unhappy?
Yeah.
And they're the biggest questions, because sometimes somebody can be so down. And if you say to them, why are you unhappy?
Yeah.
Something triggers in their brain, and they start thinking like, oh, actually, why am I unhappy? I don't have a reason to be unhappy. And it could be something as small as that can change their whole perspective of thinking. Some people can answer that, but at least they can see to that now, and they can understand. This is why I'm upset. This is why I'm angry. This is why I'm sad. And and it just gives them the awareness to, I suppose, to seek help.
Yeah, absolutely. When we had the bushfires, Black Saturday fires, where I was living at the time, I remember that the first thing I did when people came down off the mountain to come and see me is I would not say, here, da 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 da, here's how to fix it, blah 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 blah, like some people were. And what I found really important was to actually say, how can I be here for you?
Yeah.
Is that the sort of thing that you would recommend?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose if I wanted to get some sort of message out or anything to people is there's hope.
Yeah.
And there's always a support network who are willing to. It might take 10, it might take 20 years, but at the end of that 20 years, they're going to be standing next to you.
Yeah.
And not telling you, hurry up.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. As long as you can remember to have hope, that's gold.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's really fantastic stuff. So when you're sort of looking at, and certainly when I found a very Australian thing is, I'll just get over it. And sometimes people, it's not really not about getting over it. There can actually be also physiological changes. So sometimes it's more the emotional. Sometimes it's the circumstances. Sometimes it's the actual physiology here, and sometimes it's a combination of all of those.
Yeah.
Have you found that any changes in, for example, how you treat yourself on a physical level with food and things like that has changed at all?
Yeah, I suppose when I was feeling down and things like that, I would not move. I would just stay there. Like even if I wanted to drink, I'd be like, oh, I can't be bothered going to the fridge.
Yep.
Just little things like that, and that really like spirals you down. I suppose since I've found myself with more energy and wanting to do things and I suppose have some goals now. Going to the fridge is no issue.
Yeah.
You really weigh up what things are important. To me now, like my health and my fitness is my next goal.
Yeah.
I used to go to the gym. I used to be fit, play football, everything, but I lost all that.
Yeah.
Now that my mind's in a better place, now I'm conscious of my health and my fitness. So that's going to be the next step for me. But it's really important to see to one issue at a time.
Yeah.
Because that's when people become overwhelmed and if one thing's working and one thing's not, they hold on to the failure more than the good stuff. So they just need to make sure they see to one issue at a time, and then find that ladder of success.
Do you find, like, even on that very, very practical level, do you find that doing things like keeping a list for what I hope to do today, do you find that when people are really low that's something that can help them as well, just to refocus?
Yes and no. Because if you are weighed down and there's so many things that you could write down because you feel like so many things are going bad. But then if you have all these things written down, you're building a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet that expectation, you're back to square one.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say I'd write a mental list.
Yeah.
But just try to achieve that one thing. And not keep. Don't try and exert yourself and push yourself to the limits. Like, you've got to get back into the swing of things and see a few issues
And that can be really hard for people who, for example, like really high achievers, is, right, okay, I'm going to get an action plan, and yeah, oh. And then there's, oh God, I didn't do it, oh, and that's what you're sort of trying to avoid, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to, I suppose, bring everything back, get back to the skeleton, and then work it out from there. We're not superhumans. We're not completely like magicians.
Yeah.
So we can't just put our hands out and things are going to come to us. And we also can't go in two places at once. So it doesn't make sense to me to try and fix two issues at once.
Correct.
Not very many of us are good at multitasking. But if you've got something to work on, put 100% effort into that, and then you can move over to the next one. Yeah, definitely.
It all takes time. It's really that thing of, okay, well, I'm going to allow myself this time and space. And so it's also the time and space, I guess, of, okay, I don't have the energy, I'm just going to sit with this right now. Because too often in Western society, it's like that whole thing we talked about before, the fairy floss treatment. Oh, look, pick myself up, it'll be good. Have a Diet Coke, and, I could probably clean the toilet with that. But, probably shouldn't drink what we can clean a toilet with. But we get there. But, yeah, it's really that thing of having to sort of, okay, I'm sitting in this space for now. Did you find that allowing yourself at times to just sit in that space was also helpful?
I suppose I didn't allow myself to sit in that space, but I found myself in that space a lot.
Yeah.
For me, if I want something, I'll go get it. And that's what I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so different. I spent probably a good, I suppose, 4-5 months, probably longer, just staying in my garage, like, and I didn't leave, and I used to draw and things like that, and I would just draw hours on end, and hours and hours and hours, and when I do that drawing, I just rip it up, and like, I knew I wasn't achieving something, but I was. Like, now that I look at it,
you were,
that was just my way of, I suppose, coping with the nothing that I was doing. But moving into that space, I wanted things to be continuous, and I wanted just to keep going and going. I didn't want to allow myself that time to think until I started writing.
Yeah.
I didn't think when I was writing, because everything was just coming out, and it was just going too fast, and it was just blurting out. That's why I wrote that book in 2 months or whatever.
Perfect. What a transformation you've been through, and thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your journey.
You're welcome.
And just remember to take it a day at a time if you're in the middle of crisis. And for those who are helping people in crisis, try not to fix everything at once. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. You can contact Rick through the website. You'll be able to find him on soulstarradio.com and also soulstar.media. We look forward to catching up with you next week on Soulstar Radio. Lots of love and light to all of you, and see you next week.